He's the best player I have ever laid eyes on.
Back in 2019, a 16-year-old had scouts and evaluators going crazy, with one scouting director saying this is the kind of player who makes the hair on your arm stand up. Jasson Dominguez, who was the #1 ranked international prospect and before even inking a deal, was drawing some of the biggest comps we've ever seen, as many compared him to the likes of Bo Jackson, Mantle, and Mike Trout, with scouts saying at his ripe age of 16 he was actually more advanced than Trout. Now that we look back at those comparisons, they were actually a little insane. The Yankees, however, put their money where their mouth is, signing Dominguez in hopes of landing their future center fielder. Jasson Dominguez was born in Esperanza, Dominican Republic, and seemed destined to wear pinstripes. In fact, he was actually named after former Yankee Jason Giambi and said he quote-unquote always wanted to be a Yankee. The first time the Yankee brass laid eyes on Dominguez was as a 14-year-old, where scouting director Donnie Roland said what he was witnessing was unbelievable. An American League executive told the New York Post he was the best player he's seen on the international circuit in his career. Meanwhile, a general manager told ESPN's Jeff Passan Trout wasn't even close to this good as a 16-year-old. Nicknamed the Martian, Dominguez was at the time 5'10", 180 depending on who you asked, and was said to have realistic five-tool potential, with one of the biggest assets being his advanced approach at the plate and his electric bat speed, which produced loud contact. With all 30 teams and scouts in a frenzy, the Yankees had no choice but to cough up nearly their entire international pool money on Dominguez, landing the youngster for a team record $5.1 million of their allotted $5.3 million. The contract also included $250,000 in scholarship money should Dominguez pursue an education in the future. Unfortunately, despite all the hype, we'd have to wait to get our first glimpse of the player touted the teenage phenom, as the 2020 minor league season was a wash. The now 18-year-old entered 2021 the 33rd overall prospect in baseball and would make his professional debut in the Florida Complex League, where he played in just 7 rookie ball games, and despite just hitting 200 with no extra base hits, was quickly promoted to Low A Tampa, where he played his final 50 games to end the season. Dominguez finished the year hitting .252 across both levels with a .731 OPS, had 15 extra base hits, and was selected to represent the Yankees in the Futures game, becoming the first prospect in history to appear in an All-Star Futures game without having played a full season in the minor leagues. 2022 would provide some flashes of what all the hype was about, as Dominguez would start his age 19 season in Low A Tampa and would eventually move across 3 levels, making his way to Double A to end the season. In what would turn out to be the first full professional season, Dominguez played the majority of his year in Low A, hitting .266 in 75 games with an .814 OPS, had 9 home runs, 17 doubles, and after hitting safely in 10 of his final 12 games would earn a promotion to High A Hudson Valley. After some swing concern issues, Dominguez improved and saw his best stretch of baseball on the season, hitting .306 with a .906 OPS, slugged over 500 with 16 extra base hits during his 40-game stint before earning a promotion to Double A, where he'd play the final 5 games of the season. The righty would finish the 2022 season hitting .273 in 120 games, had 23 doubles, 7 triples, hit 16 long balls, and had an OPS approaching .850. After nearly falling out of baseball's top 100, Dominguez would enter a crucial 2023 season on the footsteps of making his way to the Bronx, and the Yankees opted to start the 20-year-old in Double A Somerset. Out of the gate, the first 3 months of the season were terrible, as Dominguez ended the month of June hitting .197 in 67 games with a .702 OPS and was striking out at a near 35% clip. Despite the slow start, the switch hitter continued to hit the ball hard, recording some of the best exit velocities in the entire organization, and his plate discipline remained elite, something he's held on to for the majority of his career. However, once the calendar flipped to July, Dominguez was scorching, hitting .332 over his final 42 Double-A games with an .891 OPS, had 12 doubles, stole 19 bags, and recorded 5 games in the month of August where he had 3 or more hits. This earned him a promotion to Triple-A for the first time in his career. However, this was short-lived, as Dominguez played in 9 games hitting a ridiculous .419 with 10 ribbies, had an OPS over 1,000, and the Yankees had seen enough, promoting their young star to the big leagues at just 20 years old. Despite it feeling like Dominguez was a top prospect for 10 seasons, he was just 2 years removed from his professional debut back in 2021 and would immediately make an impact with the big club. After being called up on September 1st, Dominguez wasted no time, hitting a 2-run home run in his first career at bat at-bat versus future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander, making him the youngest Yankee to homer in his first career at-bat and the 5th youngest in Major League history. He was also the youngest player to appear in a game for the Yankees since 19-year-old Jose Rio in 1984. Dominguez went on a power surge, hitting 4 home runs in his first 8 big league games, posting an OPS nearing 1,000. Before the terrible news came in, the prized prospect had torn his UCL in his throwing elbow and required Tommy John, and just like that, this season was done as quickly as it started. Recovery for Tommy John for pitchers is usually 12 to 18 months. However, for position players, it's usually around 10 months, so the Yankees were optimistic their potential young star would be available sometime during the 2024 season. Dominguez went on to finish the 2023 season hitting .265 in 118 minor league games between 2 levels, and despite his slow start, had 40 extra base hits, stole 40 bags, which was a career best, had an 800 plus OPS, and walked at a nearly 15% clip. Coming into 2024, Dominguez was again ranked the #1 prospect in the Yankees organization and would make his return in mid-May, nearly 8 months after having Tommy John surgery. The Yankees sent him to Low-A Tampa and Double-A Somerset to rehab, where he played in 14 games, hitting .333 with 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, and an OPS nearing 1,000. The organization was sold and quickly sent him to AAA in hopes of getting him to the Bronx to help the lineup. However, 9 games into his AAA stint, where he continued to scorch, hitting .389 during that stretch, it was announced Dominguez could potentially miss 2 months with an oblique injury. Nearly 6 weeks later, Dominguez would return from injury and head back to AAA, where he continued to play well, hitting .282 in 35 games with 5 home runs, 22 RBIs, had 13 stolen bases, and an OPS nearing 800. For the second straight season, the Yankees would call up their prized prospect in September, where Dominguez played in 17 games, hitting .192 with a .660 OPS. A season that was filled with uncertainty, as no one actually knew how Dominguez would return from injury. He played across 58 games in 3 stops of the minor leagues, hitting .314 with 11 home runs, 35 RBIs, and an .880 OPS. 2025 will be the righty's age 22 season, where he appears to have the clear path to the starting left field spot, and he'll also have to decide if maybe hitting left-handed is the best thing for his future, as he hit .319 from the left side, and as a right-handed hitter hit .185. This upcoming season will be a pivotal year as Dominguez looks to play in his first full season at the major league level and prove all the hype surrounding him since he was 13 years old was real.